A slightly more modern way of making fire, and it comes by rubbing sticks together, and it's really cool because it doesn't take much from the store. Um, Now, people often will mistakenly think that this is kind of complicated because of what I'm using here, but there aren't many more complicated ways than using a lighter. Like if you want to talk about complicated, where's my lighter? Let me show you something complicated. This right here is one of the most complex ways of making a fire. That's super complicated. It destroys the earth. It kills people. This blue that you see is made of plastic, which is made of oil, and the fluid inside is made of oil that's refined down to be lighter fluid. And oil is so valuable that people kill each other and blow each other into pieces over it. It's like liquid gold. It causes wars and stuff. It's really crazy. And then it has to be carried long distances, and it can be spilled, and it can pollute rivers and oceans and stuff like that. And the steel has to be refined, and it all has to be put in there, and they've got a little flint thing in there. And then what's crazy is after all that, when the lighter fluid's gone out of this lighter, what do?
Throw it away and get a new one.
You throw it away. And where's it go when you throw it away?
The ocean.
Sometimes. Did you guys know there's a island of plastic particles like the size of Texas or something out in the ocean floating around?
I heard about that.
Fish eat it and get sick. So it's really, should be an outdated way of making fire, honestly, but we're still doing it because we can afford to. So when people say, why don't you just use a lighter? It's kind of like, well, I do. I sometimes use lighters, but I like to see the lighter in the bigger picture of what it is to use a lighter and what it means to do this. So the old way is actually more simple in many ways. Now to do it the old way, we have to have a couple things. What do we have to have? And
Talent.
no, just really good looks. No talent. You have to have some tinder, some little material that's kind of fuzzy. Kayla's hair won't work. Hair melts. And other things that are synthetic melt. They don't want to be a part of it.
That's good.
So this is a fiber of a fibrous plant. You can also use the fibers from the inner bark of trees. Like here's the bark of the inner bark of a tree, the cambium. You can massage that up and make something that looks just like this by massaging and massaging. It's kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to set that where it's ready. And because today's such a wet day, I'm going to count on needing a little bit extra of that. And that everything might take just a second longer than normal because it's such a wet, moist, humid day. Now I've picked out a hole that I think might work. It's this hole right here. I'm not sure, but it does seem to fit that spindle pretty good. And the fire by frictions is one of those things that sort of indicates that you're coming along with your skill level. So I'm impressed if you kids can just make a fire with a lighter or matches. I think that's cool. In fact, I doubt most of you can. But if you can, I'm impressed. I'm like, good job, way to go. And then the next level of skill is to do it in wet weather or adverse conditions or after a rain. Then the next level of skill is striking a spark, maybe flint and steel, or just using an old used up lighter to do it. And then the next level of skill is to try to rub things together to create enough friction to make a coal. So let's see if we can do that today without getting caught.
Taylor's already showed me this. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
well, watch him do it. He's done it about 10,000 more times than I have.
Really?
Uh-oh, I need some nose grease.
Ew.
Oh, give me some of yours.
Ew.
Look, that's 20 years of kids' nose grease in there. Look how shiny and black
So
it is.
pretty.
Yeah, that's a beautiful hole right there. Oh, man, that's so good. So I start by just kind of going slow and feeling it out. I'm not putting any pressure at all. I'm just kind of letting it move. Kind of like, hey, how you doing, Bob? Oh, I'm doing good, man. What you up to? Let's get some work done. All right. In a good mood? Yeah, I feel good. So everything feels good. So now I'm going to speed up. Still not using a lot of tension as far as pushing down. I'm just letting this speed do the work. There's the smoke. Using my whole string of my bow, not just a little section of it.
That smells good. I know. And kind of bad when you're right here. cigar.
And we have a big giant coal. I made it a little extra big because today's such a wet day out. And a little extra won't hurt. Now, if you use your knife to do what I'm about to do, you got about a half second to do it. Because that hot coal will soften your knife metal if it burns it and heats it up. So don't ever pick a coal up and leave it on the edge of your knife. But you can real quickly pop it into your tinder bundle. Boom. Kind of like that. Now it's kind of like a little baby. I just sort of let it sit in there and get warm and happy. The coal kind of got some damage to it when I popped it in there. It sort of fell apart, but I think it might still work. Oh, it's a happy coal.
Yeah, it is. Look at all that smoke.
When your tinder is really moist, I'm loving that word today. When your tinder's damp, let the coal sit in there for a minute. And the heat from the coal will dry out the tinder that's immediately around it. So then when you go to blow, it'll spread the fire a little better. Now I'm going to stick that under my fire. And I used way too big of a tinder bundle, but I have a ton of tinder, so it's okay. And now I'm going to make sure that that tinder bundle gets up under my fire like we were talking about. And I'm ready to blow. Watch this. I'm like in action. And when it's time to blow, you get low.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to blow from way down here. Watch.
Oh yeah, that's a happy fire.
That was all one breath. Okay, low, blow, low, and slow. Is that you? That sound like a rapper now.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't need to blow anymore, really. It's in pretty good shape. Now notice the smoke's coming from those thick sticks. Watch what happens if I separate those thick sticks just a little bit. If I can separate those big thick sticks and let them breathe a little better, the smoke will go away. Bam. Isn't that cool? Now, if we wanted to, we could keep adding wood.
Yeah.
We could keep this fire going, and we could blow as we needed to.
Daddy, are we gonna make a bonfire?
Bonfire?
Yeah.
I don't know about a bonfire. We might make a fire, but it wouldn't even be a bonfire. But we might do a fire tonight. So this is considered like a scout-sized fire. You could just keep feeding small little pieces of twigs in there and keep it small. Nobody sees the smoke from far away. It doesn't make a big fuss. It all burns in our hole that we carved out. And now we have this soil to put back when we're done with the fire, which will make it disappear completely.